Trump followed Musk in a major way. 12 hours later, just moments ago, after those 70 posts from Elon.
There has been a lot of discussion on the Hill about the spending bill, which most thought was just a case of crank the handle and pass it, creating ever more spending, some necessary, but some clearly pork. The Trump team had different ideas.
Lester, that's right. In fact, lawmakers were planning to vote on this massive spending bill as soon as tonight. But now they're left to grapple with the changes that President-elect Trump is demanding. Tonight, President-elect Trump blowing up a bipartisan spending deal worked out by House Speaker Mike Johnson, designed to keep the federal government open through March of next year. Writing, quote, "We should pass a streamlined spending bill that doesn't give Chuck Schumer and the Democrats everything they want." The bill extended government funding while also adding $100 billion for disaster aid and $10 billion for farmers. But it also included health care reforms and a provision allowing for pay raises for members of Congress, leading to conservative backlash.
The plan was to vote yesterday. In a statement, Trump said that he did not want to give Schumer and the Democrats all that they wanted, which is entirely reasonable. If you enjoy this sort of content, please like, share and subscribe. It is common for governments to just grow and rapaciously take taxpayer funds and waste it. This has now reached a point that makes no sense with over $30 trillion of government debt, and that costs a fortune, not to pay down the debt, but just to service the interest. Never mind any of the principle. This spending really requires taking a knife to the excessive spending and paring it down to the necessary, not just the nice to have. Of course, you can always rely on CNN, in this case Erin Burnett, to take the sublime to the ridiculous.
Out front tonight, we begin with the breaking news: Elon Musk's government shutdown. A sentence that even a year ago would have seemed completely bizarre, but not now, not after images like that, because the man who has been by Trump's side nearly every day since the election and since that moment at a rally is pushing the country to the brink of a shutdown. He is going after the House Speaker's funding deal just days before the deadline. Speaker Mike Johnson has spent weeks negotiating a deal with Democrats, doing what lawmakers are doing, horse trading, negotiating. And of course, he needs Democrat support to pass anything in the closely divided House that he faces. And it was Musk who stood up and said, "No way," firing the first shot. Just hours after Johnson released his bill, Musk posted this on his social media platform: "This bill should not pass."
CNN is clearly trying to drive a wedge between Musk and Trump. Burnett tries to make the point that it is Musk making the running and Trump meekly following along. Now, Musk is one of the two heads of Doge. Thus, it's entirely appropriate that he focuses on government spending. Indeed, as he said of the spending bill,
"You shall not pass!"
CNN are pushing for a split between Musk and Trump. They're also trying to make the case that Mike Johnson is attempting to do what is reasonable and horse trade a deal on the bill, and that Musk and Trump are in fact irresponsible in this regard. The problem is that it's this sort of horse trading of political favours that has led to the position of the massive debt that is now in effect. The days of business as usual are clearly over, something that Trump definitely sees. Vance put Trump's position when he was walking through Congress.
Billionaire Elon Musk, who will lead Trump's effort to cut government spending, writing, "Any lawmaker who votes for this outrageous spending bill deserves to be voted out in 2 years." Tonight, Vice President-elect Vance talking about the spending plan known as a CR.
Well, what the president believes is we should support a clean CR so long as it contains a debt limit increase That's the position of the president, and that's what we're going to try to push for.
Vance put the position that they should pass a clean bill. I hate to use the word, given how often the word salad mistress Kamala Harris used it. But this bill should be unencumbered by extraneous spending. And as I said earlier, it should be for the necessities. And if there is pork in it, which there evidently is, it should be rejected. Then, in case Burnett had not already made her case.
Let's just be loud and clear who's in the driver's seat here. It's Elon Musk. He posted first at 4:15 a.m. Eastern Time. In fact, he posted and reposted about this bill more than 70 times before Trump even weighed in. More than 70 times. Trump followed Musk in a major way. 12 hours later, just moments ago, after those 70 posts from Elon, Trump said in a statement, Republicans must get smart and tough. If Democrats threaten to shut down the government unless we give them everything they want, then call their bluff. He went on to say this chaos would not be happening if we had a real president. We will in 32 days. Well, of course, whatever you think of the bill itself and the ugliness of government, it's a fair conversation. Nonetheless, there are laws and there are rules and there is a deadline for a spending bill. And the reason that there is this sudden chaos is because of Musk and his last-minute move to undermine Johnson. And again, we should note it is Trump and Musk, not Democrats or House Republicans, who are threatening the shutdown by killing the bill. And we've seen Musk's influence on Trump take hold right before our eyes, right? Smack in the middle of Trump and his running mate at the high-profile Army Navy. I mean, it's almost like an AI image and someone keeps plastering him in the middle, except for this is actually real photos.
Burnett tries putting the case that Musk led Trump by hours in terms of killing the bill. She said it's clearly who is in the driving seat here and that it isn't Trump. I'm not sure why CNN are attempting to pursue this angle, but I think they want to paint Musk as some kind of Dr. Evil having a nefarious influence over Trump. She's trying to paint Congress and the House Republicans as reasonable, and it is terrible Musk with his malign influence over Trump that is the issue here. She even has a terribly put on fake laugh in there. Pathetic. The reality is that Musk is entirely reasonable, and the way that Trump and Musk relate was clearly evident with a chat that Trump and Musk had on X during the campaign. I would urge anyone that hasn't seen that chat before to actually watch it. It is clear that both men have real concerns on the level of debt that the United States has. And then we get on to the subject of the House Ethics Committee and Matt Gaetz.
Coming after another surprise headline. NBC News learning the House Ethics Committee has voted in secret to release its report on former Congressman Matt Gaetz, according to two sources familiar with the process. Now the committee is set to release its findings by the end of the week. Gaetz earlier withdrew as Trump's pick for Attorney General.
I haven't been paying much attention to that.
The committee looking into allegations of sexual misconduct and illicit drug use, which Gaetz denies. Tonight, Gaetz writing, "I've never had sexual contact with someone under 18. It's embarrassing, though not criminal, that I probably partied, womanized, drank, and smoked more than I should have earlier in life. I live a different life now." A Justice Department investigation into the allegations was ultimately closed, with no charges filed against Gaetz.
The House Ethics Committee has said that it is going to release its report on Matt Gaetz. The committee looked into underage sex and illicit drug use. It is important to note here that the Justice Department looked into the Gaetz issues and filed no charges. This is yet another witch hunt. In this case, continued even after Gaetz had stepped down as nominee for AG. And then we have the racist race hustler, Joy Reid.
Why not have an AOC and a Jasmine Crockett who, quite frankly, are never scared Never.
Of
And
Donald
can
Trump or
communicate with
Republicans.
regular people about
Absolutely.
regular things. I mean, AOC and Jasmine Crockett are probably two of their best communicators. And, you know, you have people that have the skills, but they're not pushing them forward.
That's right.
You know, Ayanna Pressley is one of your strongest communicators. Why isn't she pushed forward? Do you also feel that these women of color, these young women of color, are getting set aside in a party that during this campaign, and this was Biden's team that Harris took on, refused to pay for the ground game?
Reid pushes AOC as one of the Democrats' strongest communicators. AOC might have a strong public profile, but it's not for good reasons. It isn't because she speaks sense, it is because she speaks nonsense. And then, of course, Reid has to make it a woman of colour issue. This is simply a racist ploy using a racist dog whistle. She should listen to people of vastly superior intellect on the issue of race. Reid obviously won't take it from someone who's white. So how about from someone who is black?
How are we going to get rid of racism until...
Stop talking about it. I'm going to stop calling you a white man.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask you to stop calling me a black man. I know you as Mike Wallace. You know me as Morgan Freeman.
Freeman is entirely correct. We need to stop focusing on race. What we need to do, which is something that the right side of politics is strong on, is to deal with each other simply as people, not as a race, a sex, an alphabet soup, or some other identity group. That would lead to far greater harmony in society. What are your thoughts on the government shutdown? Please let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching.